Welcome back to Game Crunch, everyone, keeping up to date with the latest in the video game world. Now, today, we've got a couple things we're going to have to go over, including we're getting reports that GTA 6 could cost over $100, and on top of that, looks like Sony just canceled a couple more live service games, so we're going to get onto the details on that in just a minute. But of course, if it's your first time here, welcome to the channel. Really appreciate you tuning in. If you'd like to stay up to date with the latest in the video game world, consider giving Game Crunch a like and subscribe, and let's just get right into today's topics. So let's kick things off with this whole GTA 6 possibly costing $100. According to a report by Matthew Ball of Opinion, there's speculation that Take-Two Interactive might release GTA 6 with a base price of $100. Yep, you heard that right, $100 just for the standard edition. The reasoning? It's all about pushing the industry forward. Take-Two was one of the first publishers to raise game prices from $60 to $70 during the last console generation shift. Now, with GTA 6 poised to be one of the biggest releases of all time, industry insiders believe it's the perfect opportunity to break that $100 barrier. But why such a steep price? The report points to skyrocketing development costs for AAA games. As gamers, we've come to expect these massive open worlds and deep storytelling and cutting-edge graphics, but for those features, they come with a pretty hefty price tag for developers. While prices for games have largely stayed pretty stagnant, aside from the recent $10 bump, budgets have absolutely exploded. Studios are spending more than ever to meet player expectations, and many are looking for ways to recover those costs. One of the ways publishers have been doing this is through premium editions and including perks like early access. GTA 6 is likely to have a range of special editions, but if the base game alone hits $100, it could set a new standard across the industry. So will we be looking at $100 games soon? I don't know, that's a pretty tough one, and being in Canada, it's quite absorbent because I'm going to be looking at close to about $130 per game if it go up to about $100. Now, I do have a couple points, and I do kind of agree with this price hike. I could think of a ton of games that I would pay over $100 for. I like to look at it in a way of like how much enjoyment, like how did I get out of that game? Like Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, I would pay gladly over $100 for that. Cyberpunk, pay over $100. Ghost of Tsushima, pay over $100. Last of Us, sure, over $100. Red Dead Redemption, GTA, you know, all these really, really good games, I would pay over $100. The problem is, once you get burned on a game, then you don't really want to pay over $100 anymore. You know what I mean? So you also have to kind of look at historically, video games, especially like through the 90s, early 2000s, but especially in the 90s, like during the cartridge sort of generation, there was a wide range of pricing, and some of them actually did go up almost that high, depending on the game. And ultimately, we've kind of come down a little bit from that, so I can kind of see with like the AAA games. The thing is, when you get into studios like, I don't know, Ubisoft, for example, how likely are we to get burned? I mean, you've already kind of seen it with Star Wars Outlaws when people paid for early access and, you know, at early access, the game was glitchy and didn't work. So, I mean, what are you really paying for? So this is kind of, it's such a slippery slope. I don't even really know 100% what side I'm on this one. Let me know what you think down below. So let's get into some of Sony's challenges when it comes to live service games. Last week, reports surfaced that PlayStation Studios had canceled 2 live service games, one in development at Bend Studio and the other at Bluepoint Games. But here's where it gets even more surprising. According to journalist Jeff Grubb, the developers at both studios didn't know about these cancellations until the news broke publicly. Imagine walking into work and finding out that your project is just dead. Bluepoint's cancellation project was reportedly a live service game based on God of War. It's a massive shift for the studio, which is best known for its critically acclaimed remakes like Demon's Souls. Bend Studio, on the other hand, was working on an unannounced title, and its cancellation leaves the team in a bit of a limbo. Grubb explained that the studios are now in a tough spot. A few years ago, pitching a live service game tied to a major IP like God of War was pretty much a guaranteed green light. But with Sony scaling back its live service ambitions, it's unclear what kind of projects they'll approve moving forward. While Sony has reassured fans that neither Bend Studio nor Bluepoint Games will be shut down, the developers are essentially back to square one. They'll need to come up with ideas that fit Sony's shifting strategy, whatever that might be. So it really seems like Sony is not taking any chances after that whole Concord debacle. You know what this kind of reminds me of? It's kind of like finding out that your girlfriend has broken up with you, but by seeing pictures on Instagram of her with her new boyfriend. Not that that's ever happened to me. I'm quite beautiful. No one would ever do that to me, but I've heard it, happening to some people out there. Now, we did get a little bit of good news because it sounds like the studios, neither of them are closing, but, you know, with the whole shift, you smell that? I think that might smell like layoffs could be in the future. And that's all I've got for you today, so of course let me know what your thoughts are down below. Are there any $100 games or any games that you would have paid over $100 to play? I could definitely think of a few myself. Maybe this is a good win for getting more demos on games, because I mean, if I can put like 5-6 hours into the game and find, okay, yeah, I'm gonna get into this game, maybe I'll be more likely to pay $100, especially if the game works. And then let me know what you think. Do you think we're gonna be looking at layoffs now in Ben's studio, and what do you think they're gonna come out with next? Anyway, if you missed the last news video, I'm going to put it somewhere over here, and another video you might like over here, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Have a good one.